everywhere. Let me go.
We are here, the Attitude Era podcast. We are here. Today is that day. You got King HP in the building. You got
Ooh.
Archie Carter in the building. You got yours truly, DNA in the building. We are 22 minutes away from dropping the napalm bomb on the wrestling community.
Boom.
Bret Hart drops at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We got 22 minutes before it drops, y'all.
Yo, I'm excited for several reasons. One, I feel like this is an uncensored, unfiltered, like anything, you know what I'm saying, Brett wanted to get off. You know what I mean? He did it, and he was talking to the right one. As you see, somebody became official member or honorary member of the Hart Foundation. They done came, they got the, you know what I'm saying? They got the joint.
Come on, come on, come on. Shout out to Chalkline, man. Shout out to the good folks at Chalkline. They get me dripped up time and time again. Tyree Holmes, what up, brother? What up? I really don't want to share this live because I know it's certain people that don't even tap in with us. And if I share a link, they're going to think that link is
the joint.
Yeah, so I'm going to just let people build in from the notification screen, and then I'm going to promote the link, which is the actual interview at 3. But everybody that's in here now, make sure y'all join the chat. We will be live in the chat from the Attitude Era page and our respective YouTubes, talking with y'all as the questions are getting asked in the Bret Hart interview, and the answers are, you know what I mean, being displayed from the Hitman Hart. I mean, I conducted the interview. What I like about the interview the most is I feel like it was a conversation. You know, I wasn't I was given limitations too by the manager, so I had to, you know, tiptoe around certain things. I mean, the obvious, but for me, it was like, I know with Bret Hart, I'm gonna get a good interview. Now, could I have got the obvious that, you know, that clip would have did 1 million? We know what everybody always wants to hear Bret Hart cook up about, but I was cool. That was my only limitation, which was Goldberg. You know what I mean? So I still got him to mention something about it without me asking, but opposed to that, I feel like I got a lot of information that I didn't. And, you know, I'm from that era, the Attitude Era, which Bret Hart already had about 15, 13, 14 years in the wrestling business then. But I already knew about that. And to find new things out, that's what makes me love an interview, because I could have just conducted the interview and made it clickbait, but I actually learned a whole bunch of stuff I didn't know. So that's what
I know. Me, I'm a Owen Hart stan. So to hear him in the interview, y'all gonna see in about 20 minutes, talk about his brother Owen and details about their feud, I didn't even know. That was good to hear, because I'm an Owen Hart, you know what I'm saying? A Black Heart. I'm not a Nugget all the way, even if he unfortunately Blue Blazer, but I'm an Owen Hart fan. And to hear him mention Owen and to not be a, you know what I'm saying, issue, and him walk around it, was something I learned new about, you know, Owen and him. And I mean, just learning new stuff. Who would have thought 20 some odd years later, 25, maybe 30, that there was still new things to know and learn about Bret Hart?
And we also learned that as much as people amplified, you know, Stu Hart, rest in peace to the legend, about the dungeon, Bret Hart himself, his son said that he didn't teach him. And that's what I always thought. So I learned something new with that. In the interview, Bret Hart explains, you know what I mean, which I won't give y'all away. That's what I want y'all to tune in for. But
the dungeon was lit. The dungeon was lit.
Yeah, he explains how, you know what I mean, it didn't go as people portrayed it to always be. And I mean, for me, Archie, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just, you know, I didn't really want to go into, because and then this is again, right? I feel like when you get to a certain age, people don't even look at that. The more experiences you go through, I feel like you're able to you're able to live better. But obviously, in this purpose, you're able to conduct interviews better. Being that me, I've lost my mother, my father, my uncle, my grandmother, my grandfather. Why I never asked them about Owen's death, because that's self-explanatory. I already know how you feel. I don't really want you to relive and flash back to that moment of when it happened, the call. I didn't really want to go into that. So that's why my question was their feud, because I thought that was a great question to ask, because I want to know the insight. How do you portray, like, you
gave
don't
it
like
up too. He gave it up too.
Yeah, like, how do you portray that you don't like your brother on screen when I know how close y'all were, and make people believe it? So what we really should call this interview, y'all, this right here is a heart to heart.
Ooh, Heart to heart. I like it. I dig it. Yeah, so if you're not on the YouTube, if you're not subscribed, go now. If you're on the YouTube, go now. Hit the notification button because in about 15 minutes, the Bret Hart interview will go live. As you can see, we dressed for the occasion. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's gonna be crazy too, because here in also 15 minutes, it's a crazy week for wrestling. So make sure this is probably like the top of my list though, like of things that, and we've been doing the Bret Hart Appreciation Week, you know what I'm saying? But this is like the culmination to that, you know what I'm saying? The explanation point, the highlighter across the words. So you definitely want to tap in. And again, unfiltered, uncensored Bret Hart.
Like I said, I'm gonna show y'all best parts. We ain't gonna get too detailed. What I really liked about the interview was like Bret Hart's body language. When he mentioned certain things, he got a little happy. Like he's so happy he did it or said it. Certain things you could see, like I feel that's the biggest gripe with Goldberg's, that he had a lot more he wanted to do. But in the body language in the interview, man, he just talking. He just how if y'all watch Attitude Podcast, y'all know we peoples, and that's how the interview went. Like y'all just was talking, and he was excited. Like I said, Bret's a funny dude too. So that's a lot of most times when you see him, you know, people think of him as like the grumpy old man, right? But not in this one. He was just kicking it with DNA. So having a heart to heart.
Yo, what's crazy is the reason. Let me for the people that think I'm just a genius. That was actually a bar I had when I battled Charlie Clips. Start to start. What I said, Bret and Owen, it's about time we had a heart to heart. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that's what it was. It was a conversation. You know what I mean? He was still witty. He was still slick. He was throwing his jabs at certain individuals. We got a crazy clip that we dropping on Instagram and TikTok to promote the interview at 3, and that's where he really talks about you know, and that's the thing that I would say that I love about the interview too. Now, how many people that are wrestling fans heard about the Montreal Screwjob? But the way it's told in this scenario, it's a different layer. You know, it's different things that you said. It's not the obvious. That's what I wanted to present.
And here's the thing, DNA, not to cut you off, Montreal Screwjob happened over a decade ago. The Undertaker recently, as of 2 weeks ago, talked about the Montreal Screwjob, and he said they had to do what they had to do. And guess what? Bret Hart responded to that in our interview. So Undertaker is new heat, new shade. So because Undertaker just said it a couple weeks ago, and Bret replied to that right here on Editorial Podcast. It's in the interview. Like there's a lot in the interview.
That's the clip that's going up at 3.
Okay, see, I didn't even know.
I had to holler at Z. I said, yo, we need something spicy, you know what I mean, to cook up for 3 p.m. Like we need them to, I mean, understand what this interview is really.
It's everything, man. It's cool, man. Like I said, I always wanted to be the kid that got the shades, but we the pod that got the interview. So I take it. I mean, I'm not DNA. I ain't meet Bret Hart 3-4 times. I ain't do the battle rap with Bret Hart in the ring.
Jerry and Archie got busy schedules, but I told them to pull up. The invitation was there. You know what I mean? They just couldn't make it. You know what I mean? They got other things. You know what I mean? Well, things coincided.
I know we would have been good, but yeah, bro, it's just absolutely. It's just cool being able to share spaces and rooms with people you admire and grew up, and they respect what you're doing enough to sit down on your platform. That's another thing. Y'all think Bret just sitting down anywhere?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You think he's just sitting down anywhere for 20 minutes. But the thing with me is, man, like it's crazy to say it, but at 33, being that I've been in the entertainment industry in a while, I've met almost all of them. There's not too many things or people that can make me feel like how I first felt when I got into the music and entertainment business, or make me feel like it's Christmas again. After I finished that interview, you can ask HP and Jerry and Archie how I hit them up. I felt like it was Christmas. Like, yo, we got an interview.
I got a question for you, DNA. During the interview, it's sometimes you looked a little like, damn, I can't believe he said that. Or I don't know what the fuck is about to come out this man's mouth. What was you like? What was the most uncomfortable part, or like you didn't know what was gonna happen? Because on your face, you looking like, you know what I'm saying? What points of the interview had you shook?
The most uncomfortable part was obviously when he was cooking up Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and all that, because for me I always try to practice what I preach. So it's like if I see somebody interviewing somebody and my name gets brought up and the interviewer is making a face, I know I'm gonna be looking at it like, yo, your job is just to ask the question. You feel me? It's like you gotta tread the fine line to where I'm like, yo, let me remember I'm an interviewer, and one day it might be these people he's talking about that I'm sitting with, or they might see this and be like, okay, we see what type of time homie's on. We not rocking with him. So I'm like, I gotta be impartial, even though, you know what I mean, the cook up was crazy. So that was the most uncomfortable part. Like, how do I, you know what I mean, keep a straight face, continue to be an interviewer, but still, you know what I mean, get the people like, yeah, I heard what he's cooking up. Like,
because the clip we did put out when he's saying, you know, Vince McMahon could ride in hell, you looked like it's a good interview, man, on both sides. I'm not just saying that.
I mean, I'm not going to lie though. I'm happy, you know what I mean, when this is being said. Shout out to Vince, you know what I mean? But he's no longer with WWE, so me being a part of that clip, it will not affect anything that we have going on later.
Hey, it ain't stopping the motion, you know what I mean?
HP, we got what the chat talking about, HP, and you got any favorite parts of the interview?
I'm not gonna go into favorite parts because T-minus 10.
You don't know how to talk without talking.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it up. So what I will say though is, you know what I'm saying, we definitely got motion in there. And this, like I said, that's why I keep saying it's unfiltered, it's uncensored. We're not sitting there cutting out parts because, you know what I'm saying? Nah, man.
No, it's a straight, no edit.
As he said it, y'all gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
AEP uncut around here. So,
you know what I'm saying? And then the best part about this is, right, is you have somebody like DNA who I don't want to ask an impartial question even afterwards because, you know, there is more future to the Attitude Era podcast. But when you have people who go into battle rap, so they kind of know how to get at somebody, and now you're doing an interview, and now that's the kind of energy at some point you're getting back. Like, yo, Bret Hart got a round. This is a round. This is some serious, like, oh man. You're probably gonna make the same face as the viewer. The DNA is on there. Like, that's what it feel like to probably stand in front of a round.
Yeah, no, when they watch the interview, though, one thing I do love about it is, you know, what I always try to tell people, even the people that say he sounds bitter or whatever, you haven't endured, you haven't seen, and there's some things that he's never going to talk about that have happened.
And that's the part we don't know.
To get a person to a certain state. The reason why I like for instance, like I'll go with this, Raising Canaan. Right, I'll do it from two aspects. I'll do it from something I work with and something Jerry works with. We'll go Raising Canaan, we'll go Gotham. Right. The reason why I love those shows is because when you get to Batman, you see the Joker, you see the Riddler, you see Penguin, you see Two-Face, you see all these characters that are now manifested to who they are, and now people just have certain feelings and certain judgment to them. But when you watch a prequel to something, you get to see how that character was built. And even if this character turned out to be bad, you see the trials and tribulations and the adversity and what this character went through to get to the level that they at. And the truth in that is that that's just us as humans, as entertainers. You only get to see the final product. But me, I'm not a person that just judges things on the surface. So with Bret Hart, y'all may look at the comments and say bitter, but you don't know what this man endured. And we do know some of the things that he endured, but we're forgetting that when you hear him say it. This is somebody that had their career short. This is a man that had a 30-year contract with WWE. This is a man that was loyal from the beginning. This is a man that lost his brother to the business. This is a man that in the Hart Foundation, even though Brian Pilgrim was an honorary member, all of the people in the Hart Foundation are no longer living. He is the last man standing, literally. Aside from all the other stuff that has happened that we don't know about, you can't really fault somebody for being that because there's a lot of things that didn't go his way that he's not at fault for. So that's why you get the individual that you get today.
That's why I said even our interview, it wasn't grumpy. It wasn't what people might think it is. And I mentioned in the Double Up, what we just released, go check that out, that I feel he's one of the people, prime example, sometimes you love something that don't love you back all the way.
He's Bret Hart, man.
And he, he coming out the shirt.
Let me take this off, man. After that speech right there, I'm Bret Hart's manager, man.
But yeah, it's a good interview. He mentioned a lot. He mentioned a lot, and that match that he said will be his final, bro.
We got that too. He said if he, I mean, it probably won't happen because you know what I mean, at the age he's
I'm
at.
saying it. Next Thursday, Gaming with the Game, we might have to play the match that Bret Hart said would be his final comeback, go out match, Iron Man match. They leaving on a stretcher, but you gotta watch the interview to see who he picked. Bret Hart said if he would return, he would wrestle as one person. I've never heard him say that before, a dream match or a retirement match, and he gave it to us. He gave us a lot on his interview, and y'all about a good 5 to 7 minutes away from checking it out. And when you check it out, like it, comment, share it, tell us what you thought about it. Watch Double Up. We did an episode just specifically about Bret Hart, and it's pink and black all week. And then next week we got some crazy coming too, but this week is all about Bret Hart, and I'm excited about it. And you know, I'm waiting to watch it again. So
yeah, listen, man, we watching it with y'all. We watching it with y'all. We in the comments, in the premiere when it goes live. I'm gonna be promoting, but I'm gonna still have it up, typing in the chat. I'm gonna have it right up on my computer as I'm on the phone, promoting the link out, promoting everything. I'm gonna see what y'all, how y'all respond to these things as they are happening, and so will HP. So
yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
I actually cannot wait.
Yeah, it's one part I'm curious to know how people are gonna feel. And it is involving another wrestler that he said something to Bret after Bret, knocked Vince out. He said something.
That's in the clip that's going up at 3.
He said something that you ain't the only one that feel how you feel sometimes. Sometimes you're the one that say it. But yeah, it's deep, bro. It's deep. It's a good interview, man. Shout out to DNA, man. You handled yourself well. You asked the right questions the right way. And I think, Bret had a good time. He had the mural. Yeah. The mural is still, I think the mural's still up. So if you're in New York and you can get to the Wrestling Universe, it may still be up. Shout out to the Wrestling Universe. Jack.
For making this happen. Shout out to Jack for everybody that donated. It did not go unnoticed. The Wrestling Universe is now open again. So shout out to everybody that helped.
7 days a week. So they just had Joe Hendry was there. Shout out to Gamage. He just sent us a picture of him and Rhea Ripley. Gamage is our man on the street. He's the boots on the ground. So he at the events, he's doing the interviews. Wrestling Universe is back open 7 days a week. So if you did donate, thank you. Link is still active. But yeah, they're back in business. And this is partial. I mean, big part of this is because of them and them allowing us to use their space and trust us with handling these wrestlers and interviews we get, because we could do something or say something and ruin that relationship. So again, if Bret Hart sitting down with us, Wrestling Universe is allowing us to use their space, it got to be something about the Attitude Era podcast, right? Right. So Bret Hart, how much time we got, man? We 18 minutes in. We like 4 minutes out.
4 minutes left. But yeah, like I said, man, I'm getting nervous. Wrestling Universe is back open. Appreciate Jack for giving us all these interviews, allowing us to interview these people. And like Archie said, listen, man, that's the trust that when we go in there, like, yo, it's not a goofball that's in front of these wrestlers on some TMZ shit that's gonna make them be like, yo, Jack, why you even got this guy interviewing me? So that goes a long way with the trust and the process that the wrestlers have, because even somebody like D'Lo Brown, who I did an interview with, I build relationships. So that's the thing we're doing here. We're not just getting an interview for clickbait, because an interview is an interview. You know what I mean? Once you build a relationship, that lasts forever. So, you know what I mean? We was able to bring D'Lo Brown on my new series, Top 5.
It's names. Once you watch the Bret Hart interview, do yourself a favor. Go through our interview playlist. You're going to see names on there that you've probably not seen interviews from in a while. And go to our hot tags, too, because it's short form interview style. The interview is long form interview style. So, and it's names, like, just go through the list and you'll see everybody on there. Female superstars, male superstars, current, Hall of Famers. I mean, it don't stop. Cross companies, AEW, WWE, ECW superstars. I mean, ECW originals, WWE Hall of Famers. It's go through the list of our interviews, check them out, leave a comment, like it's like that over here. And the hot tag, same thing. So even when we get into our series like Double Up and They Got Us, we not just dudes talking on the camera. We actually wrestling fans. And HP is a encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge. He can quote the date, the time, tell you the color laces Bret Hart boots had in a match because, you know, and DNA was the young 6-year-old kid watching the Attitude Era. I was the young jumping around the house, flipping between Nitro and Raw. But before then, you know, I was at the cross from, if you know anything about New Orleans, cross from Marrero, the fire station, watching Tommy Rich, Tracy Smothers, and doing so. I'm the independent. You know what I'm saying? We do this wrestling talk because we are fans first, and we give it to y'all. So
we want them to be on time. So we going. I mean, we going 3 p.m. Y'all got 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Go to the. It is on the video list. As soon as you see it, Bret Hart talks Vince McMahon. It is up. You want to go in the, just click on the link and wait in the chat. It's going to go live in 1 minute.
That's it. So
Bret Hart interview live in 1 minute. You want to get over there now, be in the chat. I'm going in the chat.
YouTube. We see y'all in the chat. Peace.
Good night.
Good night.